Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 1.51% to 39,823. Ethereum up 1.42% to 2932. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Thank you for being a part of our globally extended KS family. I appreciate you being here. What we've done is just gone through a bullet run of these hard to see areas in the crypto market. We can see across the board we've got a bit of a patchwork. Bitcoin and Ethereum are coming up and they're dragging all of the alts with it, even though it may not seem so. What we can see is some red throughout the market. I really like markets that look like this. They're quite healthy. Just to let you know, to avoid scammers, please refer to the links in the description of this video, such as the NFTs, the official NFT collection for our beloved community, the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. I also have a link for TradingView and a lot of other links. One thing that you might always be aware of, scammers are everywhere. You need to go to a reliable source. Let's have a look at the news today. Let's start with Fort Worth, Texas. Yeehaw! Fort Worth City Council, led by Mayor Matty Parker, unanimously decided to approve a resolution to mine Bitcoin and add it to the city's balance sheet. Woohoo! This is the first for a city in the United States. Fantastic news. And who was that person? What do you mean, Ken? I'm Tex from Texas. Oh, sorry, Tex. Thank you, my friend, for reading that out. Okay, in other news, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy has recently announced its plans to facilitate the employees to retire on Bitcoin through Fidelity's new Bitcoin 401k program. Wow, it's happening. Beijing officials indicated plans to stabilize employment and fix supply chains. That led to a rally in Asian markets yesterday. Japan's central bank is doing unlimited buying of the 10-year Japanese government bonds at 0.25% interest. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with about $10 trillion, that's assets under management, launched a new ETF called the iShares Exchange Traded Fund that will specifically focus on blockchain technology, cryptocurrency and tech companies such as Coinbase, Mara, Riot and PayPal. BlackRock will also manage the cash reserves of USDC, the $50 billion Circle-run stablecoin that's become central to the DeFi and cryptocurrency ecosystem. It's actually number 2 to USDT. As far as earnings, Amazon missed its EPS by 189.02%, but its revenue was up 9.44%. Its net income was up 98.32%, but its operating income was down 49.66%. Microsoft beat estimates, EPS estimates, by 0.98%. Apple beat by 11.17%. Meta, Facebook, beat by 8.23%. These are the tech giants. This is really, really important. This is driving the market, the US market, and that's really important, as we've seen time and time again for crypto. Goldman Sachs is getting into NFTs and exploring the possibility of tokenizing real assets. So it begins. Ronin Network upgrades security following North Korea's Lazarus hacker attack group that drained $612 million from Axie Infinity. The Ronin Network was actually compromised by Lazarus through an ex-employee of Sky Mavis, and they did a 51% attack. There wasn't a security hole inside the system. It was human social engineering that occurred there. Poor old ADA, the Vassal hard fork, is delayed by weeks or potentially months, and British luxury supercar manufacturer McLaren Automotive is putting NFTs together and entering the metaverse. You can see, like I was saying, for a long time, the metaverse is an easy onboarding for major companies. I put some community NFTs together so you can get familiar, but please make sure that you access the link in the description to reach those. As a community, we focus on maintaining a positive excellence life trend. Maintaining inner peace and outer peace is really important. If people don't have inner peace, they won't have outer peace. If people don't have inner peace and outer peace, they will be really stressed, and that goes against the profitability of trading. Your psychology will determine your returns, so it's incredibly important to be cool, calm, and collected in the market, and also in life. You don't want to raise your blood pressure up. You don't want stress. You don't want sleepless nights. You don't want anxiety. All of those things suck the life out of your life. You want a meaningful and happy life. I want to thank Flipside Freedom, who made a fantastic comment in yesterday's video. Hi Ken, yesterday was a huge day whilst all the influencers and all the retail influencers were looking at a massive drop after the big red day, pushing Bitcoin under the support lines. I used all I have learned from you one by one to go through my holdings and the different markets to see what was most probable. Whilst the market could have a massive wick down, my analysis was showing higher odds of crypto holding support. I could see Bitcoin hold weekly and monthly support. I was seeing massive buy orders in the 38 to 39k region. I could see almost all my altcoins sat at strong support. I could see the Nasdaq and S&P were both testing massive support also. I was seeing bullish divergence on the RSI for many cryptos. This is the key point. In the past, I would have listened to those experts and sold. And what do we see today? The market is generally up. It's going up. Of course, the market always moves in waves, and we always counter for up and down price movement. But there's always opportunities in the market. Every single day, opportunities reset, just like in life. I love this, but using my newly honed skills, I had the confidence to hold and buy a little. This may change, but I'm seeing strength in the crypto market, and it seems if the stock market can steady itself, things are likely to trend higher. Next job is to hone the take profit skills. Well done, Flipside. Awesome. In CTKS, we say no to fear, no to FUD, no to FOMO. We don't think like retail, we think like an institution of one. Our community exists to break people out of this absolute stress cycle. And I've seen a lot of influencers talk about, oh, we're here, we're in denial, we're in panic, we're in thrill. And it's not true. When it comes to smart money, they don't even look at these things. They don't care because they know a secret about the market. The first thing that they understand, all investors become traders whenever they buy or sell. Traders buy on the red, sell on the green. Holders have a diamond hand mentality. They hold through everything. The ups and the downs don't bother hodlers. But that can create enormous stress and many sleepless nights. What traders do is they have a diamond mind, and it creates a diamond mine. Thank you, Beardy. And what basically occurs when they buy on red, BOR, and they sell on green, SOG, BORSOG, when they BORSOG all over the place, they actually put themselves on the right side of the percentage. I'd like to share a trade. A beloved community member reached out to me and shared with me. What we see is this is DAR, Mines of Dania. Now, what happened with DAR? DAR was going up and it was coming down. And this beloved community member came in and started trading here and set a sell here. Let's see how things played out. What I can do is just fast forward the action. Okay, we can see things going all over the place and bang and bang. Wow, this is crypto. Did this beloved community member do anything wrong? Absolutely not. There is always the potential for exponential price action inside the crypto market. But what did this beloved community member do? This member did really, really well. They turned $299.66.82, so $300 into $330. And you may say, Ken, oh, that's really bad. Shouldn't they have grabbed this long wick? Well, if people had a crystal ball and knew that long wick was coming, well, that would have been great. I guess we can all say that if we look back on the trades that we do, we would want to sell at the absolute top. Just for example, right up here, because we know exactly that there's no certainty in the crypto market. Crypto is incredibly volatile. If you have a look at this price action, what do we see here? Waves, price moving in a wave. This is a very structured and very sensible level to sell at. That's that 106,880, or as we have here. And this is what I say to all community members. If you would like to share anything with me, I must see your trading history. That's what we do inside the masterclass, and I think it's incredibly important. It's very easy for people to say, I did really well on this particular trade, but you need to look at the actual data itself, because that's what really means anything. And coming from a statistical background, I really want to see the numbers. We love to run them. So 106,880, this is the sell. The buy, 96.98, down here. In my eyes, this is a very good trade. Nobody could have predicted, and the past price behavior couldn't have predicted that we'd get a shoot up like this. For example, this is a really good trade, and this was a 10% trade that occurred within a day. And you can see that from the 27th of April to the 28th of April, just one day. This is really, really good work. Fantastic. Now, why do I say it's fantastic? Because I know so many people will be saying, but Ken, that beloved community member missed all of that. That's zone 1 and zone 2 thinking. We don't even care what we miss out on. We're already on to the next opportunity. We have opportunities lined up like ducks in a row. What are we seeing here? Remember, 27th to the 28th. The 28th, when I put that in, it broke the calculator. It couldn't calculate the annualized percentage. So I had to pop it forward one day to the 29th. If this particular beloved community member was getting 10% per day and just rolling it over, they would get 1.66 million % return in a year. Do you still think it's a bad return? And one thing that we can see in the crypto space, opportunities reset daily. We can come in and out of trades all the time. And I'm really proud of this particular community member. They put their sell when they put their buy, and they put it at a reasonable level. Remember, the markets were absolutely blood red a couple of days ago. Everybody was calling for imminent crashes all around the world. And what has happened? Nothing. Just like normal. This is why we BORSOG, we buy on red, sell on green, and that is rule 621. To be profitable in the crypto market, you need a lot of rules. It's a rule-based market, not a pattern-based market. And one of those rules is rule 359, be on the right side of the percentage. If we could do just 10% per week and just keep on rolling it over, and sometimes we can do this and sometimes we can't. Sometimes we can do much better than 10%, other times we can't. The market will dictate your returns, but this is just a concept. I'm not saying that you have to get 10%. Just think about the idea of it. It's like the 10-5-10 rule. It's like a lot of things that we discuss. If a person just put $1,000 in and could get that 10% per week, they would turn 1,000 into 117,390. And this is a low risk 10%, but you absolutely require knowledge. You must have your rules. You need, counterintuitively, you need a lot of patience. You must have a real wealth, positive excellence, life trend mindset, or else you'll stop yourself out of trades and investments all the time. And one critical thing, you must make the percentages move in your favor. You have to buy on red. You must BORSOG. Crypto technical analysts scientifically track investor attention, which is measured through reality, which is price. We ignore future promises. A promise is a promise. It may or may not happen, but price is actually happening. It's really happening, people. That's what we have to look at. When we look at the foundations section, foundations is marking up the chart. This is absolutely critical to do. Then we look at outside trends, collect probabilities. We're like a detective. We focus back into the crypto market, find the market's focus, understanding that opportunities reset every day, and we must enhance our pattern recognition. Then we have a real wealth mindset, because professionals are not emotional. Only then do we consider buying and selling. We patiently apply the 10-5-10 rule. We make volatility our best friend, and we've got a palette of different methods and methodologies that we can use to extract value from the market. Each section is like a gold staircase. Should make this gold. And what basically happens, this is a silver staircase. The concept is, for every step you take, you acquire the knowledge. You come up foundations, then you go to trend, then you go to timing, you go to real wealth, then you go into trigger. A lot of people just want to jump to the top floor, go to the trigger where you buy and sell. No wonder they fall off this cliff. If you don't have this foundation, you can't make it in the crypto space. It's really important to know what you're doing. Another rule is rule 225. This is a key rule of the crypto market. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. There's a lot of facets to that rule, but the key understanding is cryptocurrencies are a really tiny market. And when compared to the stock market, the bond market, and the gold market, it's really tiny. But it represents the ownership layer of the next evolution of the internet. And we're so very, very, very early in the crypto space. We haven't anywhere close hit mass adoption. And you're seeing more and more news come out of different organizations, even different city councils, yeehaw Tex, just getting into Bitcoin and holding it. Now, why is that important? Because Bitcoin moves the crypto market. And if Bitcoin goes up, your beloved alts will go with it. You want Bitcoin to go up. Masterclass students, you get my live chart in TM6. What we actually see is the VIX spiked up, and it overshot this particular area because it was a bad correction. Because the VIX didn't spike as we would expect it to naturally spike, it came down. This is what always happens inside financial markets. We get an overcorrection. And when we get an overcorrection in fear, when the market gets so incredibly fearful, it signals a big correction in price. And that's what we've seen just recently. So as the VIX shoots up, prices shoot down in the main markets, and this is the Nasdaq 100, which is indicative of the major indices and the tech index. What we can see here, the VIX has since retreated from that resistance line. Our hope is now it will start to come down. Now, how do we know what it will do? When we think Apple beat its earnings, Apple is the largest and most valuable company on the planet. That's a really, really good start. Amazon was a little bit wobbly. Microsoft beat. And we've had a lot of different companies beat their earnings, more than have missed. This is important because the stock market is generated, the returns of the stock market come from earnings. If the earnings are going up, the stock market is going up. Doesn't matter what commentators say, that's what's happening. A lot of people, when they enter the market, they see the earnings going up and they say, well, why isn't everything rallying? Because there's always delays. Things take time in the stock market. I parallel it to watching grass grow. I love the crypto market. It's so fast and so interesting, and opportunities always reset daily. So what do we actually see here? We can see the Nasdaq came down hard because fear came up hard. So we witnessed that fall. But then it's come back up because fear has fallen. I would expect the VIX to start falling around to the 2244 mark. That may take us all the way back up to around 14,571 in the actual NASDAQ 100, we may see a very nice rally in Bitcoin. Now, is that certain? Absolutely not. Nothing is certain within financial markets, but is it probabilistic? Let's keep on looking through. I would suggest it's a definite tick there, but let's have a look more. We need to collect our probabilities. We can't use just one data point and say, oh, that's the one that we want, because that sounds good. Let's have a look at bond prices. Bond prices were chaotically dropping off a cliff. They've staged a little bit of a bounce, but we really want the bond prices to start repairing to a degree. Unhealthy markets are not good for anyone. And what do we see with gold? We can see gold is in a long-term uptrend, but it's come back to that kind of support area that we talked about quite a period ago, months ago. And what do we see here? We've got support around the 1853 mark, so just bear that in mind. Look at the dollar. The dollar is going parabolic, but what happens with parabolic increases? What happens? For example, we saw it with oil, decay. We saw it with gold, decay. What are we going to see with the dollar? I believe we're going to see a decay. Things can't get too overextended. When things get very, very highly profitable, it calls the main street in, and that's when the institutions say, thank you very much for the money, I'm selling now, and they tank that particular area. There's another rule that covers this, Rule 114. Markets penalize certainty. You've got to be aware, when you are absolutely certain of something, you are probably wrong. And this is what markets do to us all the time. They humble us. That's why we have to have so many interdependent rules. One thing that you may like to pay particular note to is oil. Oil seems like it wants to get above this resistance line. What's going to happen in the next week or so will be critical for oil. If it's a false breakout or a continued breakout remains to be seen. We just trade the chart in front of us. Inflation is a key narrative at the moment and something that's wobbling markets around. If we look at the 10-year and the 5-year, they've both bounced up. The federal balance sheet, the Fed balance sheet, is coming down, but it's not coming down that much. We can see M1 and M2, the circulation of money, actually increasing. The CPI has not been updated yet, but of course we would expect that to go up significantly. We've seen a bit of a bounce in the NASDAQ, and we've seen that Bitcoin is maintaining its structure incredibly well. Bitcoin has a magnificent bullish structure. A lot of people say that it doesn't. We'll have a look at it. It absolutely does. Let's have a look at gold and silver. When we inverse the DXY, we tend to get a direction for gold and silver. You can see that's reasonable clarity between the two. Sometimes it does diverge, but often it's for different reasons. For example, gold was absolutely going parabolic when Russia decided to invade Ukraine. And this is something you have to understand about gold. It's a geopolitically sensitive metal. But we've seen gold and silver come down recently, and we've also seen the inverse DXY just basically drop off a cliff, and because that's rallying in the non-inverse way. But we always look for continuously reliable signals, and this typically gives us one. The question is the economy weak? Is it going into recession? Well, 77% of the companies that have reported their earnings have actually beaten estimates, and a couple of giants have done so. And this is really important. If we were seeing the opposite, if every company was missing, yes, then you start to really worry. But we've seen the vast majority, 77% of them, actually beating estimates. This is how financial markets work. They want to beat estimates. Masterclass students, you will get this particular chart in TG34. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently trading at 39,800. What's basically happened here? We saw Bitcoin sell off, find a support, rally through, go through a resistance level, turn it to support, attack the next resistance level. It's wondering about if it can get over. We had an almost equal split between A and B, but the A's won. When we said yesterday, where do you think Bitcoin will end up in the next 24 hours? Well done, everyone. It doesn't matter if you didn't pick A, it's just a really, really good learning exercise. And I urge you to do it every single day. Just figure out what you feel is going to occur. That will help you to understand the market dynamics even more so. When we look at Bitcoin's price action, we can see there's a level of resistance that was overcome, that was pushed through, and then another level of resistance here. And what do we need Bitcoin's price to do? We needed to get above that 40,000, say 800, 40,800 zone into C, and then it can start to push its way up to this resistance level. What we see is a bit of a small cradle actually occurring inside the A bracket. That could be very nice. Please let me know what you think. Where will Bitcoin be in 24 hours? Do you think Bitcoin will come down to B or to E, stay in A, go to C or to D? Remember, like what we were looking at in DAR, with that beloved community member, that person saw exponential price action. This can happen a lot. But what fuels exponential price action in Bitcoin? Yeah, you got it, the longs and the shorts. When looking at the longs are improving. They're basically looking at the crypto market and saying the stock market is doing really well. 77% of major companies beating their earnings per share estimates. That's good. And the shorts are saying, well, geopolitical strife, Russia, nuclear war, famine, poverty, supply chain bottlenecks. I'm in. So they're both in. So who's winning? We can get an understanding of that answer by looking through liquidation data. Over the past 24 hours, 197.35 million in liquidations occurred across 52,216 positions. And when we look across the past 24 hours, we can see about 63% of liquidations were short. How does that go for 12 hours? About 58. What about 4 hours? About 51. What about the last hour? Ooh la la! The longs are getting whacked around by the shorts. We're seeing about 85% of the longs getting liquidated. This is why I always say, please keep away from leverage trading. I know a lot of people say, but Ken, I don't have the money. I really want to be a financial blessing to myself and those I love. And the only way I can do it is borrowing from the exchange and getting as much leverage as I can and hoping to win it big. Actually, it doesn't work that way. That's why I showed that 10% per week. That is a concept. It just shows you that you don't have to get much to be fantastic. You don't have to get much of a return to break the calculator. For example, this trade was $300 and it broke the calculator. And have a look at that return. Please give up leverage trading. You've got all the leverage you want inside the crypto market already. And remember, this return is not in 12 months. It's not 10% in 12 months. It's 10% within 24 hours. So you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. You must have the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you will lose. Even if you start with a lot of money, you will lose it definitely. The crypto market will take it from you. When we look at Bitcoin futures open interest, we can see that we've got a very nice uptrend. We've crossed over resistance. We're getting a little bit of a wobble, but things are looking really, really good in the main market. And a lot of people say, Ken, but they're not looking good. The Fed is going to tank the economy. The Fed is going to do 100 basis point raises in each session. The good thing is that where the US economy is right now is in expansion. Things are actually going quite well. Don't forget, a lot of retail influencers just sell fear. It gets people to click on thumbnail descriptions and to read news headlines as well. What we can see when we look at the fear and greed index, there's a lot of fear in the crypto market. To a professional, this is buying on red frenzy day. We love buying on red. We love fear. We've actually reprogrammed ourselves to not hate fear, but to love it, to embrace it, to make volatility our best friend. You may need to go to your best friend and say, sorry best friend, volatility is now my best friend. But of course, it always requires knowledge about what you're doing. I like to use this example because it's really very, very valid and we can understand it easily. If a person has a license, you would say they know how to park. They were taught how to park. It's part of the driving instruction and part of how to pass the test. But you can see sometimes drivers take it into their own hands to spread out and maybe take a couple of spots. Or they want to get out easily, so they go very close to the car next to them so they can't get in or out. And sometimes they do really, really interesting things. The key is, when we look at the crypto market, we have specific rules which allows us to park in the middle of the parking spot, allows us to drive down the crypto highway, not angry, not in road rage. We don't have to be like this guy here, or this guy here, or these people here, or these crash test dummies here. We actually know what we're doing. We're cool, calm, and collected. We have our act together, but it takes knowledge and emotional control. The professional mindset is always one of thinking in 3 dimensions at the same time. If things go your way, what will you do? If they go against you, what will you do? And if they go flat and get boring, what will you do? You have to make in advance probabilistic choices before you trade. And remember, all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. We see many times in the crypto market, certain projects, they will absolutely surge forward, just like a bat out of hell basically, and they will rocket up. And what actually happens then? They tend to tank down. We've seen Ape doing really, really well, and it's just absolutely rocketing. But be aware, when you get these exponential price takeoffs, you can get exponential price explosions to the downside as well. Implosions. What are the best performers over the last 7 days? Ape up over 70%. Well done, Ape. Carver up 22.99. CRV up about 10. SKL up about 3.5. Cell about 2.66. What you actually see when the markets are inherently red, you will get typically some kind of standout that gains all the market's attention. This is why bear markets are incredibly easy to trade, because you get a concentration of power. What you can see, Ape has a concentration of power at the moment. It's starting to look a bit toppy. Does it mean it can't go much more? It can go whatever it wants to go. We don't have control over where things go. And if you were in Ape and you sold, that's fantastic. So long as you got your particular percent return, that's awesome. And that's what it's all about. What I like to say, we have 3 markets: the bull market, prices going up; the bear market's pessimism; and the BORSOG market. And the BORSOG market is always in play. Prices are always going up and down all the time. They get bullish, they get bearish, they get bullish, they get bearish, they get bullish, they get bearish. And BORSOG takes advantage of both of them. But of course, you must run the numbers. You need to go from probability. You must understand percentages. You must embrace losses. Buying on red means you're embracing losses. You're not scared of them. You embrace them. You need a lot of rules. You need the knowledge. You need patience and a 3-way strategy. And you need a lot more than that. I said earlier that the market had a really good bullish structure. What did I mean by that? What we can actually see is that Bitcoin rallied up and then came down. It rallied up higher than the previous rally. And this is actually really important. A lot of people have said we're in a bear market. If we were in a bear market, we would have made not a higher high, a lower high. So that high would be squashed down here somewhere. That's not what we've seen. A lot of people say, but Ken, the technical structure of Bitcoin, it's breaking. Actually, no, it's not. If we look at this particular resistance line coming down here, price is already trading in a support area. If we go over even further, we can see multiple resistance lines getting broken. But what about this area? Surely this invalidates everything. No, it doesn't. We can see from this point to this point, we've still got a lot of space, and we've got a series of higher lows. This is really, really important. What happens is that a lot of people, a lot of retail influencers, get you to feel fear and to base your decisions on fear. I don't know of anything in life that's made better when you base a decision on fear. Pretty much nothing. Fear makes you highly reactive. It floods your system with chemicals that don't help your body at all. What you see here is a higher high. What you see here is a crossing of resistance. What you see here is an uptrend. So many people say, oh, everything's going to fail. They do the Chicken Little act. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. The sky's not falling. And what does it actually mean if the sky did fall? We say, so what? We're in the market and we say, okay, these things happen. It's not an issue. And what typically happens, people don't want to be part of any form of retracement, so they tend to go all out, not realizing that things come back. And that's the issue. Price is always moving in a wave, up and down, up and down. And let's look at this wave here. Actually, there's even a better place that we can look. If we go back in time to the COVID sell-off, this is when everything absolutely melted down. Let's put some percentages on this. I've just zoomed in here so you've got a bit of better look at this. The Bitcoin price came down 63.78% in just 29 days. This caused an enormous amount of stress within the crypto market, and everybody was selling except the professionals. The professionals were buying, especially these long tails. And what actually happened from that longest sell-off to just under recovery, the market rallied 166.17% over 55 days. So you can say 30 days down, 60 days up, but 155%. That's why we get the percentage on our side. Professionals have no problem holding a loss. Retail investors cannot hold a loss. They look at it and feel really, really bad. They actually should feel excited. But that's the difference between the retail mindset and the professional mindset. And it's a great thing to aim towards. When you look at a loss and you say, I don't care about you loss, you actually showing that I'm doing the right thing. That's fantastic. You're borsogging. This was when the entire world closed down. There were major systemic problems in the US, liquidity crisis. Think about it. 64% down, 166% up. If we got a meltdown right now, if you could possibly buy it, that's the best thing that you could ever do. Just think back to COVID. And please let me know in the comments, if you had it to do all over again, would you have bought this COVID sell-off, or would you not have bought it? This is a really important thing to discuss. And around this time, the retail influencers were just saying, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world. And people were walking away, packing up and going home, missing the single greatest buying opportunity in a lifetime. And now the influencers are at it again, and they're basically saying, oh, it's going to fall and it's going to plummet and it's all over. And again, it's the single best buying opportunity. When this sell-off occurred in Bitcoin, that was also another incredible buying opportunity. But people left the markets in droves. They were terrified, they were scared, and they lovingly sold into the hands of smart money and institutions. This is the thing that professionals do. They are loss insensitive. They look at a loss and they say, meh, I don't care. And they absolutely love spikes like this. A spike like this is the perfect thing to buy into and to sell, to buy into and to sell. We see it all the time. These long tail spikes, They're just beautiful. And if we go back to what Flipside Freedom said, in the past I would have listened to these experts and sold. Wow. The key is to get to a point in your development that you actually understand what is happening inside the market. You know the rules, and the rules can take a long time to understand. It took me decades, over 3 decades, to put my rules together. And those rules are inside the masterclass. And as the markets change, I bring out the relevant rules in the living videos. Let's have a look through the top cryptos. We've done a lot of analysis on Bitcoin. We know where it's at, and we know the longer term perspective. Let's have a look at Bitcoin's gravity, how it affects the alts. Ethereum has been pushed down, but it's actually retracing now, just like Bitcoin is doing. What about Binance Coin? We're seeing a little bit of strength in here. Some people in the community have focused on Binance Coin. When it comes up, that typically heralds the market is starting to come up, and that's what we're seeing now. That makes a lot of sense because Binance Coin, BNB, is used on exchanges to lower trading fees, and so therefore increased demand means people are moving their money into BNB to try to position themselves. So very fair point. Poor old XRP has been under the weather of late. You can see a divergence between Bitcoin's gravity and XRP recently. And that's because a lot of news stories are coming out saying that XRP has already lost the case. And I think it's just misquoting, rampant misquoting. You have to be very careful when you read news headlines. Don't just read the headline. You must look into the entire article, or you can be misled. Unfortunately, it's all fear-based out there. Scammers, fear, we need to get past that as a community and help others to get past it as well. When we look at ADA is consolidating around its support line. What about Solana? Behaving really well. A lot of strength in Solana. What about Luna? Luna is just consolidating, and you can see that Luna's got inherent power in it. What about AVAX? Poor old AVAX lost its support line, and this is what always happens with crypto, and this is why we have a specific rule to guard us. That's rule 5. You can always buy lower. A lot of people get into crypto and say, oh, I need to buy. And then they buy at a single level. What you want to do, you can always participate, definitely, but never buy at market. Just put your buy order into the market and wait for it to be filled. That's how you know you're not buying at market. You're buying at spot. And please don't use leverage. The way that you can tell people who use leverage, they use not tether pairs, USDT, because this means you own it. They use USD and they use perpetuals and they use a whole lot of other things, but there's always a lot of telltale signs. The other thing that you want to be really aware of, if you don't see a chart in log, the person that's actually giving you that chart probably doesn't know what they're talking about, because if I take log off now, look what happens. Everything goes absolutely ballistic. Log on. Log is used for exponential price action. It's really important to use log when you look at Bitcoin under any large time frame. Really critical. When you zoom in on a particular crypto, you can have a choice of using log or not using log. That's okay. But when you look on a long-term frame, always use log. With that in mind, we always say you can always buy lower, so we're buying at levels of support. Even if we think it's the most fantastic project, the most fantastic crypto on the planet, we always buy lower. We set our buy traps lower, and then we just chill and wait for them to be filled. And congratulations to everyone yesterday. The winner was Sol. People were talking about what is the most powerful. The majority picked Sol. The second one, by a long margin, was Luna, and then we had evenly distributed across the rest. If we look at Sol, we can see it's following Bitcoin's gravity. This is really important to understand. It had some desynchronization, and now it's synchronizing. And this always occurs when Bitcoin sells off dramatically. It tends to reset the entire market. What we're seeing here is a crossing of resistance. I think Sol could do really well. A particular target that I'd like you to keep in mind is this level. Actually, I just created a couple more lines for you. It's always good to track these charts. What you can see, Solana is currently about 165% below its previous high. That means it has a lot of space that it can take up. And when we're looking at specific resistance levels, why are these ones green? That's sell on green. You can have a variety of different levels that you can go to. Remember, price is negatively biased. You can always buy lower. So we don't just go on into one particular crypto, all in and more. We don't do stuff like that because crypto is so crazy. You can get these long tails coming down. You want to always make the percentage work for you. Even if it's 0.001%, you've got to get to that level of diligence that you say, I'm not buying at market, I am buying lower, and buying lower than you might think. Sometimes you'll miss the price, but that's okay. You're a professional. You don't care about that. You're not bottom dwelling. That's a retail thing. You're a smart money investor and trader. You want to do what smart money does. So what we're basically seeing here, for example, the next level of resistance is about 5% away, then followed by another level about 18, nearly 19% away, then followed by another one about 39, nearly 40% away, and then coming up, this would be a really, I believe, quite a reasonable target to attain, about a 75% return. And when it comes to trading and investing, there's all sorts of ways that you can do it, and we cover off those inside the masterclass. The issue is you can also buy on the way up, so long as you're using the percent in your favor. You don't have to only buy when price comes down. Price is always moving in a wave. There's no problem with buying these pullbacks. And what about this price on the side here? As traders, professional traders, we don't care about price. We only care about percentage. We want to analyze the market, the crypto, for what we see inside the pattern and what we see that particular crypto can do. Don't care about price. It's not the issue. A lot of retail gets sucked in to a very, very low price, and that low price keeps on getting lower because it's not about price, it's about percentage. Please let me know what you think about Sol. Has your estimate changed by what's happened in the past 24 hours? Would you still pick, for example, Sol, or would it be something else? Please let me know in the comments. It's really great to talk about. And I had a very beautiful message from a beloved community member who was saying, basically the community is like the workplace that you always wanted. Just work colleagues, everybody helping everybody, and it's like a good family as well. And it is. We are a really, really good family, and everybody is welcome. We'll quickly go through community favorites and the rest. Let's have a look at Gala. We can see this kind of looks like Ape, doesn't it? Ape is going parabolic. Gala went parabolic, and then it came down, and then it went up, and then it came down. Just bear in mind, the metaverse projects are really, really good projects. You can see that so many people are getting into them, and they'll want to turn to existing players to understand the technology. So as we look at Gala, we can understand that sharp angles reflect. Matic. Oh, the other thing is that you look at Bitcoin's price action. It's actually, Gala is moving in line with it. Having a look at Matic. Matic has realigned to Bitcoin's gravity. Look at Veracity is absolutely spot on, except just a little bit of weakness recently. Come on, VRA, so many people are relying on you. Icon moving with Bitcoin's gravity. And we can see Rose just kind of moves with Bitcoin's gravity and against it, but recently come back into alignment. This is a resetting. This is really, really important stuff. Rune is looking quite strong relative to the other 8. Please let me know in the comments why I say that. Why am I saying that Rune is exhibiting strength relative to the other 8? What about IOTA? It's just following Bitcoin's gravity. What about Doge? Following Bitcoin's gravity, but look at these spikes. Doge is a really spiky crypto. Looking at the metaverse plays and some community favorites as well, we can see Sand performing quite well. It hasn't done what Gala did. And this is why it's critical to look over so many different patterns. People want to apply a particular pattern to a particular crypto, not understanding that pattern may not actually fit the personality of that crypto. Let's have a look at Axie. Axie is just following Bitcoin's gravity. What about Mana? Following Bitcoin's gravity as well. Near is quite interesting. It diverged and then started to follow. When we get these resets, they're really important to the market. Markets need to get flushed out, and that's what resets do. Let's look at Engine Coin, following Bitcoin's gravity. As a question, what do you think will happen when Bitcoin starts to rally? A very interesting question. Please let me know in the comments. What about Ape? Ape is going ape at the moment. Wow, good on you, Ape. And it's the #1 player in the metaverse right now. Now, how do I know that? Because I go across to CoinMarketCap, and there's only a mere 19,182 cryptos. Go to the metaverse tab, see Ape, and we can see that Ape has $6.7 billion in market capitalization, but it's not been trading for too long. How long has it actually been trading? How you actually do that? Go into the Ape, the overview, the all, and we see here that Ape came alive on the 18th of March. So about 5 weeks. 5 weeks to accumulate $6.7 billion. This is why a lot of people look at the metaverse and say, wow, there is so much money in there. So where did this money come from? It came from Mana, Sand, all of Axie, all of these particular metaverse plays. And of course, new money came in as well. But the idea is what happens when people start to think, oh, this is getting a bit frothy. I might just book some profit and might go back to my beloved Sand or my beloved Mana or Theta or Axie or whatever it is that they do. What do you think will happen to the price of Ape then? Please let me know in the comments. It's really important to discuss these kind of ideas. Okay, so we're getting a good look into Ape. What about Chiliz? Chiliz is just obeying Bitcoin's gravity. And what about SLP? Obeying Bitcoin's gravity as well. When Bitcoin kicks up, guess what's going to happen? Please let me know in the comments what you think will happen to these particular cryptos. Let's just quickly finish off the community favorites. When we look at Theta, Theta is coming back to a level of support. I just wanted to zoom out to the 8 hours because I've got all the other charts on the 8 hour. When you can see Theta's support much more here. When we look at T-Fuel, just at support, looking good. IOTEX at support. EGLD at support. But notice following Bitcoin's gravity as well, we're having a reset across the board. Phantom, a little bit wobbly. It's just sold off recently. Let's have a look at CHR. CHR, just following Bitcoin's gravity. Loopring, following Bitcoin's gravity. And Cosmos, following Bitcoin's gravity. And you notice Cosmos is very spiky. Could be interesting. I have a question for you on this particular chart, this group of 8. Which one do you think has the strongest technical pattern? It is actually a very clear standout. Here we're looking at Theta, T-Fuel, IOTEX, EGLD, Phantom, CHR, Loopring, and Cosmos, Atom. It's an amazing thought that a couple of days ago, the market was blood red. Everybody was running, screaming for the hills. A crash is coming, a crash is coming. What happened to the markets? Why aren't they crashing? Because it's just like what we said. When you look through smart money, an institution of one's eyes, you see the market completely differently. You're not caught up in the fear, uncertainty and doubt, the FUD, and you're not caught up in the FOMO, the fear of missing out. You just don't care about those things. You're just doing your own thing. You're looking for opportunities. You're setting them all up. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students, and of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global KS family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Please always go into the description of the video to get your links. There are links to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, and you can get 80% off. You just click that link there. And we also have an official CTKS NFT collection. You can see them by clicking on the links here. These are the official links. Everything else, you don't know if it's correct or not, but these are the right links. Also, I've got a lot of other useful links in the description. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.